Our final inductee is Mr. Harry Taylor Jr., class of 1972 also. He began by working part-time at Eller's Par 60 down by the river, and as a sophomore was on the team that became 10th in the state championship. He later became a two-time winner of the Tennessee School Days tournament, which is a huge honor. The tournament still goes on today. Only the 8th player at that time to win back-to-back. That's cool. He was the NIL Match Play Championship in Harvard Hills, Tennessee Chapter PGA Young American Tournament, CWSA Region 4 champ at Shelby. That's a horrible course to walk. I'm sorry for that. Taylor went on to play golf at the University of Tennessee. He was the captain there. He went on from there in the development of Metalwood and started TaylorMade Golf Company. He is now the owner of Harry Taylor Golf and the director of operations at Gaylord Springs. We'd like to welcome our newest member to the DuPont Athletic Hall of Fame, Mr. Harry Taylor Jr.
Well, okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much to the Alumni Association for an unexpected honor to be inducted into the All Sports Hall of Fame here at my favorite high school, DuPont Senior High School in Hermitage, Tennessee. I've got a few things I wrote down, but I think I'm going to kind of wing it. I do want to congratulate Philip Gardner and Victor Franklin on their induction. And Victor, you and I were classmates, so congratulations again. And you know, we were at the DuPont in Hermitage, and we were the first class that went to all 3 grades there, 70 through 72. So that was a big honor. Before I get started about DuPont, I'd like to introduce my family. They're here. Sandra, my wife of 47 years, she's with me. My son, Zach, I guess I've celebrated about 38 years with him. He's with me. My daughter, Brooke, celebrated about 34 years with her. She's here. Her husband, Jake, I guess I've celebrated him about 12 years since he's been here. My grandson, you know, it's hard to say Lyndon because I like to call him Huck the Finn. And then we do have a granddaughter, Louie. She's not here tonight, but thank you for all the time and effort that you guys put up with me through my life. I was gone. I played a lot of golf. I designed a lot of golf clubs, and I was gone. I was gone around the world doing different things. But before I get to that, I want to say a couple of things about DuPont High School. Because DuPont High School, you know, those high school years are so important because, you know, the faculty and the staff and the coaches, they did everything in the world they could do to make sure to prepare you for life's challenges. And I guess in high school, it was always about how they could prepare you really to move on to college. So you could have every available chance to be a success in life. I was very fortunate with the education I got at DuPont, and of course the golf that I played at DuPont. We had very good teams back in the early 70s. We rarely lost a match. We went to the state championships a couple of different times, and when I was a 15-year-old sophomore in high school, I can remember the team we had. There was a guy, Tom Forcum, Paul Toombs, and David Fields. We were the foursome. And, you know, it gave you a real sense of pride when you would pull up to Shelby Park and you'd see all the other Eastern Division teams there of Stratford and East and the rest of the teams. They'd go, hey, look, there's DuPont. Hey, look, there's DuPont. Now, I didn't get to play on many sports teams, so for them to point at that old Ford Mustang and say, hey, look, there's DuPont. You know, that was really a sense of pride for me. And, you know, we'd get out and we never lost. And, you know, it was exciting and it was good. But, you know, that was all because of DuPont High School. And DuPont High School, it was just preparing me for the next step that I would take in education and in playing in my golf career of taking it up to the next level. I did go to the University of Tennessee. I was lucky enough there to actually graduate. I mean, a lot of people say, college just wasn't for me. Hey, it wasn't for me either. But somehow or another, I did get through there. And I was lucky enough to make All SEC about 3 years, and I was captain of the team for a couple of years. So, UT, it was great. I mean, it was tough competition. It was SEC. You were against Florida, Alabama, Georgia, and they always had strong, great teams. But anyway, I'm getting off script here. Let's see what else I can say. Let's see. I did that pretty good. Thank you. Thank you. This one right here. Yeah, I'm talking about the foundation that really DuPont High. It was the foundation of my golf career. Actually started at DuPont through the competition. The matches, the state tournaments. That was really great competition for me, seeing that I was good enough to go to the next level. And luckily there were a lot of universities and colleges that thought, hey, I'd like for him to come play for us. But luckily I studied enough in high school where I could get to go there and stay eligible and be able to play some college golf. In my life, don't let me take too long here. In my life, my golf fell into 3 different categories. I was a PGA Tour player for 9 years. I played the Champions Tour for a couple of years. I got into the golf equipment business. So I was one of the founders of TaylorMade Golf Company, Founders Club Golf Company, Mizuno Golf Company. I did all their club design. And then I started about 4 years ago, I started a little Harry Taylor Golf, because I'd kind of gotten out of the golf club design business, and I became a club professional at Gaylord Springs over in Donaldson. And this has all been, it's all different. Playing the tour was, that's kind of like the final tip top of the pyramid, if you can do that. But when I got there, hey, I wasn't good enough to be on the tour. I was a good enough qualifier to make it through the tour school 8 different times. But I didn't have much staying power on the tour. That means I lost my card 8 different times. You had to stay in that top 125 to be exempt. Didn't quite do that, but it was a great experience, great accomplishment. And then I tried the Champions Tour when I got older, and it was still, those guys that beat me all my life, they were still beating me even though we were in our 50s. So, things don't change, but that was great also. If I've got time, I've got 2 stories. I got one PGA Tour story or one TaylorMade story. Which one would be the best? Oh boy, all right, I'll do it quick. PGA Tour story, here's a quick one. Now here's a guy from Old Hickory, Tennessee, went to DuPont High School, and I'm in a place that it's pressure packed. I'm playing in the 1995 US Open, Oakmont, Pennsylvania, Oakmont Country Club. Well, it's the toughest course on tour, and it's Arnold Palmer's last US Open. Arnold Palmer being from Pennsylvania, you can imagine the people that were behind the fairways wanting to see Arnold Palmer play his final US Open. So I'm on the tee, and I knew that Arnold and some guys were close to our group. So as the tee times were a little backed up, as I'm up there and the guys I'm playing with were getting ready to go, they say, next on number 1 tee, out of Old Hickory, Tennessee, Harry Taylor. So here I go. I'm walking, kind of getting ready to tee my ball up, and it's nerve-wracking. And I glance back. There's always a tent on the back of the tee, and sure enough, there's Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Gary Player, waiting for me to move on. And I'm thinking, oh man, now I know these guys, but when you're playing in a major championship and you're standing there lined with people, you can imagine the anxiety that you might have. And I kind of glanced back one more time at them, and I could tell they were pulling for me to hit a decent shot. I'm out of place right there, but I did. I got it on out through there. It was a great experience, especially being Arnold's last U.S. Open. But when you're ready to go and you glance out of your eye and you see Goff's big three, that was pressure. So that's a PGA Tour story. A TaylorMade story, it's a little different. Still kind of the PGA Tour. So I'm playing the tour, the Western Open. The guy walks up to me and says, "Are you Harry Taylor?" Yes. He said, "I started a company about 5 or 6 months ago, and I named it TaylorMade." I said, "I've heard of that." I said, "That's a good name." He said, "Here's my problem. I don't have a person in the company named Taylor." I said, "Well, that sounds good for me, bad for you." He said, "I created this thing, a metalwood. It was the new modern day TaylorMade metalwood. It was like if we started something today. It's just, hopefully it becomes popular." So I got to be buddies with Gary, and I came up with some ideas, and he had ideas, and all of a sudden, I'm borrowing money from everybody I know to buy part of the company, and so I become a partner in TaylorMade, and away we went, and it's what got me into the golf club design business. I'm sure not an engineer, but years ago, when my dad got me involved in golf, and Harold Eller, the longtime pro at Old Hickory Country Club, many of you probably know that, he taught me how to play golf. My dad was a golf professional from Michigan, a club manager, and he sure wanted me to play, but he really didn't have the patience that Harold Eller had with me. So anything that I do in golf, I'll always owe Harold Eller for anything that I do and know, because he was my mentor when it came to understanding how to play golf. He also, with my dad being manager of the club in Old Hickory, he would always let me open the boxes for all the new clubs that would come in the golf shop, and I always had a real interest in golf clubs, and then I found I had a huge interest in golf club design. So anyway, Gary and I get to be buddies, and I come up with a couple of ideas of how we can get it. Me being a tour member, it was different working on the tour as a tour member and not just a manufacturing guy. So Gary and I moved on. We built the #1 driver on the PGA Tour. The metalwood got very popular. We had the first metalwood one on tour. We had Lee Trevino as a staff member. We got all kinds of staff members. We became very creative of how we could pay these guys. With Lee, we gave him a little bit of a retainer, but I said, "Gary, here's an idea. Every club we sell, let's give Lee $2. But we're gonna raise our prices $4, so at the end of the year, when we're paying Lee this big money, remember, we raised it $4, so we're getting $2 also." So I was trying to come up with anything, and TaylorMade became a huge success. We wound up selling the company in about 7 years after we started it. And we started another company called Founders Club, and it had some success also. But that's the TaylorMade story. I guess I did become the tailor of TaylorMade. Gary Adams deserves all the fanfare. It was his idea to come up with the metalwood. But that was a fun ride, being with my mentor in the golf design equipment business was Gary Adams. So that's my second bucket. And the third bucket, PGA of America, been a quarter-century member, been with the PGA of America since 1991. That's right, and Gaylord Springs, I've been there 13 years. It's been great. Harry Taylor Golf, the little equipment company I started, been going 4 years, it's doing just fine. And I got one more thing to tell you guys. Again, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support of the Alumni Association. I know they depend on you, they count on you. But here's one more thing from a kid from Old Hickory. Arnold Palmer, Tom Watson, Johnny Miller, Ben Crenshaw, Lou Graham, Lee Trevino, God, what does that say? Gary Hoyer, Nick Faldo, Stevie Ballesteros, Bernhard Langer, Phil Mickelson, Fred Couples, Hal Irwin, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods. As a kid from Old Hickory that attended DuPont Senior High School, graduated and captained UT's golf team, a member of the PGA Tour and the PGA of America, I was lucky enough to play in a tour event with all those guys. And I've got one thing to thank on that. I thank God, but I also thank DuPont High for pointing me in the right direction and making sure I was successful in life. Thank you.